with Vader. I'm your host, Christine Hands. Let's get started. Today we are going to be making Grandma's pie crust. Just the pie crust? No. This pie crust is a tried and true recipe. We have used it for everything. We've used it for pies themselves, deep dish pizzas. I know that New Yorkers think you know pizza, but you don't know pizza unless it's 3 inches thick. So today I'm going to be making a quiche. Now for me, cooking is never an exact science. So today we're going to be having Grandma's recipe because I don't actually need 2 crusts. So here I have a ½ cup of margarine because I never follow the recipe directly. I have 1½ cup flours, pre-measured. 1 teaspoon salt, so we'll do ½ teaspoon salt. I think that might be a little salty, so we'll just do, shoot. I'm not really sure how much salt is in here. It also calls for a ½ cup ice water. I don't actually have any ice at present because of a certain situation with some compost in the freezer, but I do have really cold water. 1/4 cup. Now we mix. Now we roll out the crust. We go ahead and put a little bit of flour on the counter just to make sure it doesn't stick to the counter, and then we leave the rest on the ground for the roaches. So put a little flour in the bottom of the pie pan just to make sure it doesn't stick. So if you are gluten-free, this is not the quiche for you. We gently transfer the pie in. So a lot of times I'll have a little bit on the edge. I grab a knife, butter on the edge. And then what I like to do, because cooking in my kitchen is never a perfect science, in fact, there's clearly no science at all. It's just chaos. And just affix the leftover crust that I had from the other side over here, just to fill out the edges so that it's beautiful. If I have extra, I can make a tart out of it. So our quiche recipe calls for 6 eggs. This is also not for vegans. Unfortunately, my husband drank all the almond milk that was unsweetened, so all we have is this Ripple vanilla pea milk. So shout out to Ripple for sustainable vegan milk. The quiche also calls for 3 tablespoons of flour and ½ teaspoon of baking powder. The question facing us is, where has the time gone? Guys, I think we're out of time. Great news, there's more time. Our recipe calls for a ½ teaspoon of thyme and a ½ teaspoon of paprika and a 1/4 teaspoon of chipotle powder. Unfortunately, I'm really low on spices. I don't know we're gonna make it through the quarantine together. It also calls for pepper, but we've had some bad experiences with pepper recently, so we're just gonna hold off.
You've had bad experiences.
No, it's your fault. I'm gonna go ahead and toss in the bacon and some spinach and onions and broccoli. Fun fact, I don't like eating pig's bacon because I don't like the way we slaughter them, so this is turkey bacon. We're also gonna add just a wee little bit of pepper jack cheese. Next we're ready to go ahead and pour everything together. In goes the quiche filling into Grandma's pie crust. I said we put in baking powder and flour, so it should rise a wee little bit, but as you can see, it is all ready to go in the oven. The oven is preheated to 350 and in the quiche goes. And how it turns out, nobody knows. Voila! No! Oh shit.
It's tasty good.
Describe the texture of the crust.
Flaky. Scrumptious.
And as promised, I had some leftover pie crust in the freezer from last time I made a pie. So I just went ahead and rolled it up with some apples and sugar and cinnamon inside, and voila, tart. And thus concludes this evening's episode of Cooking with Darth Vader. I'm your host. Until next time.